When I start shooting, all y'all gonna clear out.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. We have a very important update to the Arcelin Ash doping situation. It all started with this tweet that now has 1.1 million views. Basically, everyone has seen this tweet. They responded to this tweet. It says Arslan Ash banned by IESF for doping. What's going on? Before we dive into Arslan's portion of the video, I do want to talk about the branching subject where I got dragged. There was someone who says Moonsault Sweating Bullets to get absolutely nothing burger out about this video. Once my video did drop, this person then responded and says, "What did I tell you?" This basically triggered a huge dog pile where people were attacking me, saying I was exposing Arslan. They were mad at me for making the video. My response to basically all of it was, I'm just a commentary channel, trying to be respectful when reporting the topic and focus only on the truth. I don't understand why this is seen as such a negative thing by players. Now, in the comment section, a lot of people were, sharing their opinions. Some people I talked to, like this person here, we had a little back and forth. What I do want to say, though, is I do appreciate the people who stepped in to defend me. Like Mike has a really long tweet here. And I'll read a little bit of it. It says their talking points are nonsensical at best. They all interacted with the post, got their thousands of views from it, reposted it continuously, but you do YouTube, it's a big problem. The person who initially started the Moonsaw dog pile has a blue check mark, which means their Twitter is monetized and they're going to make money from shaming me. And they're basically making fun of me trying to shame Arslan, which that is not at all what I was trying to do. So I just think there's a lot of hypocrisy going on. A lot of people acting like just because I do YouTube, I'm a terrible person, but all of them was farming their likes and their views and everything on Twitter, and that is seen as okay. They know if they do not interact with a big Tekken news story, their voices will slowly be forgotten about as other people take their place, and so they repost comment. They blow it up whilst also calling it a nothing burger because they need to keep the attention on you. They don't like the fact that you're doing what you're doing, but you're actually making money from it and building a big following. If it wasn't nothing burger like all of them claimed, they would have just kept scrolling, but they didn't. Just look at the post. Hundreds of thousands of views and interactions. Is it because of you? Are you even an original poster? No. And that's the thing. A lot of people was upset at me, like saying you're exposing Arcelin, and I wasn't even the original poster. The original post has 1.1 million views. Mine has like 300,000. They're upset because whilst you're making money from doing the exact same thing they're doing, you're also not stressing about how you drowned in pools for the 100th time at Major. Keep doing what you're doing, bro. Focus on the YouTube community. The Twitter is full of people that enjoy dogpiling someone, then get surprised when it happens to them. So I just appreciate everyone who was defending me during that time. But now let's turn our attention towards what Arslan is saying about all of this stuff. So he says, I want to address the ongoing discussion of and being fully transparent. Back in 2021, during COVID lockdowns, when esports tournaments were on hold, I started going to a local gym in Pakistan. Like many others, I just wanted to get fit, build a lean physique. A trainer there offered me what's called supplements that would help boost the process. Trusting his advice, I paid around, this is Pakistan currency, 60,000, unaware that I was given contained banned substances. Fast forward to the end of 2022, after winning IESF, I was tested, and that's when I found out the truth. What I was taking was actually substances that are banned in esports competition. That was the first time I realized what I had taken. So this is kind of like a tragic story for Arcelin, where basically a shady gym instructor lied to him and fed him a lot of like steroids. That's crazy. They labeled it as supplements. I don't know Pakistani law, but I know in some places, bro, that's illegal, big illegal. The test was conducted under the regulations of WADA, and I judged according to the Olympics level athletes. I want to be clear, this was never intentional and I misled, and unfortunately, like many others, I became a victim of gym culture where substances like these are sold casually with zero guidance or education. As I understood what happened, I stopped immediately. Since then, I've joined a better gym, taken full responsibility for my health, and educated myself to ensure this never happens again. That's fire. That's fire. Let me also make one thing absolutely clear. This was never part of my esports journey, and I've been winning international titles like EVO and many others long before I stepped in a foot in the gym. My success in gaming is and always been built purely on my skill, hard work, passion. I hope this clears up any confusion. Thank you to everyone who continues to support me. It's more than you know. There was this big debate as well about, is the steroids helping him in any way whatsoever? And some people were doing research and finding that the answer is yes, but in a very, very, very small amount. Like the amount that it would be helping him would be less than drinking a cup of coffee or a Red Bull while playing a game. And we know a lot of people do that. So taking steroids for basically a fraction of a cup of coffee of energy, stupid idea. Some other people though was researching this, and the answer was turning out no. And I was doing the same thing, depending on whether you use Google, AI, different web searches. Some will tell you yes, some will tell you no. And I think that's something that they need to figure out. Like all of the answers should either say yes or should say no. It shouldn't give you different results, but I guess that's the problem with the internet as a whole, where sometimes it tells you something that is not true. Also, Twisted Minds, this is Arcelin sponsored. They said we reaffirms its full support for Arcelin Ash. This is our official statement regarding IESF recent ruling. So Twisted Mind stands behind Arcelin Ash, not only as an esports athlete, but as a person of integrity, discipline, and preference. This situation stems from a 22. Okay, so we can skip past that. We find it necessary to raise concerns about the timing of this announcement. The IESF made this ruling public 2.5 years ago, process and intent, particularly as competitive integrity was promised, with no restrictions raised or taken by any major tournament organizers. We also could talk about how WEC is a part of the Tekken World Tour, and they were doing their own separate testing, and they found Arcelin to be in violation. But no other tournaments or Bandai Namco or no one said anything. It's when they unban him, some random Tekken player finds out, and that's when the Tekken players go crazy, right? We're confused. But why didn't Bandai Namco say anything? Why didn't Combo Breaker or, these other, what is that about? That's so weird. It seems like the Tekken World Tour and all of the tournaments within should be on the same page. You know what I also did as well? I looked at the rules. Well, I asked AI. If there was any mention of steroid use or any type of substance in the Tekken World Tour rules, and the answer was no. And also, a side conversation to that, it's probably because they want to be able to test everyone. If you had to test 5,000 people at Evo, but then you had to test 200 people in some small country all the way across the world, they want to be able to do that. So that's why they don't do it. But the fact that the Tekken World Tour rules is the way that it is, but then you have these tournaments that operate within inside the Tekken World Tour who does it, it's just so weird, and I'm surprised we haven't had more situations like this arise. It says we strongly support fair, scientific-based anti-doping measures in esports and align with the position of Esports Integrity Commission on this matter. The water probe list was never designed for esports, and antibiotic steroids offer no proven performance benefits like in games like Tekken. This is also something that people were talking about, is why are these rules being applied to esports? Because in real sports, steroids is a big thing, and these rules look like they've kind of been copy and pasted, but the letters and stuff has been changed a little bit. So even this esports org is calling that out, like, why are these rules applied to games when games are different? Now there is a poll that will happen in a couple of hours. You guys can check it out, but I'm basically asking players the question, do you think esports is real sports? And if you compare Tekken to like a boxing, obviously everyone will say no. But then when you take into consideration that golfing, bowling, pool, darts are all considered sports, where does esports fall in that? And should the same rules be applied? This tournament org says no. And I think you probably could apply the same rules, but you got to tweak it a little bit. You can't just copy and paste, make it more specific, tailor it to what's actually happening in esports. Arcelin's career was always built on skill, passion, and relentless work. We remain proud to have him a part of Twisted Minds, and we will continue our support. Let me check real quick and see if Red Bull Gaming put out a response as well. And they did not, but I'm pretty sure they're probably feeling the same type of way that Arslan and his other sponsor is. But I just want to make a video and give a little summary of this, because I know a lot of people's gonna be like, all right, Moonsaw, make your video now. But also, This is what I said I would do from the start. I said if there was anything that happened that either I got wrong or anything that happened where Arslan responded, it's mandatory to make a response. Hopefully this will give you a better understanding of what happened, and also it's a cautionary tale about going to a gym and being handed supplements from a stranger. Be aware of that. Okay, but that's it. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one, and bye-bye.